We are live, welcome back to the three ways. Why the three ways? Because in life we have three ways to get out of problems also. So today we are gonna share an amazing topic, send this idea, how to get out of a bad place, internally and externally. So I'm gonna wait for the two incredible ones.
Woohoo! When I have a game for you.
Amazing, we love games. Real games.
Francesca brought up a topic we'll be doing today, which is so amazing and powerful, which is how we individually deal with stuff. We advise people all day, every day. And then people, I'm sure, Glenn, have asked you the question. I know they asked Francesca, what's your process, right? So we're going to get to that. But before we do,
there is a game.
There is a game we're going to play. Okay?
Okay.
So it's kind of like a Rorschach test of the mind. So I'll say name a, right? That's what the game is called name a. So if I said, Francesca, name a color.
Red.
Okay. Glenn, what color were you thinking?
Red. Because she said it.
No, it's not red.
People watching can play along in their minds. And what this game does is it really opens up what's instantly in someone's subconscious mind. So we can use this as practitioners, or it's just really a lot of fun at like when you're waiting for your food at the diner. So I wrote down like 40 of them, but I'll just do a few. Okay. So Glenn, we'll let you go first on all these since once we name something, your mind doesn't go. All right. So the point is don't think. Just whatever comes to mind. Ready? Name a soda.
This is like that test. You look at a picture, like the first thing you see is your future. You know what I mean? Those little things. All right.
That's exactly, because that's why I said this is a Rorschach test of the mind. That's exactly right.
All right.
That's exactly right.
Go for it.
Okay, name a soda.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Okay.
It's true. Actually, it's contagious.
Okay.
You know what? This is already proving, and I didn't even intend to do this, the power of suggestion. Right? The power of, all right, so we'll let Glenn go first on all of them just to see if maybe Francesca could stay with her own mind. Even Francesca's suggestible. Okay. A celebrity with blonde hair.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, my favorite one.
Nick Nolte? I don't know why he
with
came
long
to mind,
hair.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Gary Busey.
Okay. All right. Glenn, you go first, then Francesca. Because Francesca's less swayable. She'll stay on her own thing. Okay, ready? No thinking. Here we go. Name a fast food place.
McDonald's.
The Five Guys.
They have that in London?
Yeah.
Really?
It's very good, actually.
Is it pizza or burgers?
Burgers and chips.
Good.
Okay.
Good French fries there. Very good.
Okay. It's a good one.
Ready? Glenn, as fast as you can. A candy bar.
Twix.
I don't know honey because I don't like candies.
You cannot name a single. Have you ever been to CVS or what do they have?
No, I really never have these sweets ever.
But you know, you go to the store and they're all lined up right
then off license.
Okay, ready? Glenn, name a dog breed.
German Shepherd.
I don't know.
Can somebody type in a dog breed? If Francesca can't answer the question, we're going to have people watching.
I would invent
a dog.
All
I
right.
don't even have a dog. I can name like at least 3.
Names of my dogs or in general, inventing?
Just a kind of dog. A kind of dog.
Fila Brasileiro.
Okay.
What did she say?
It was used for the fight against the Jaguars, and we had them at home, so it's my favorite one.
All right. This game is so much fun. Okay. Ready? Glenn, go first. Name a politician.
Trump. Your favorite.
Berlusconi, the first one in my mind.
All right. To be clear, Glenn is being sarcastic. Okay. And thank you, Drunk Safari, drunk safari for also saying German Shepherd. Okay. Type of car.
Ferrari.
Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo. Italian, of course.
Name a disease.
Cancer.
Cancer. That's what I thought.
Wow. Okay. Name a topping for ice cream.
I think it's a topic for ice cream.
Topping, like what you put on top of your ice cream sundae.
Hard shell chocolate.
Chocolate sauce.
So you do the hard shell chocolate sauce.
No, but that's what I also thought of.
On an ice cream cone, if you dip it in, and it's like at the magic fountain that we used to have in East Hanover, New Jersey. We would have soft serve, and you dip it in a hard shell, and it's amazing.
Yeah, because when you buy, like, you can buy those already made, right? Like the ice cream, the white ice cream with the chocolate on the outside, hard shell, like Klondike, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like that kind
But
of
it's better freshly dipped. It's the best. All right, so where does this game go? What do we learn from this?
Nothing. The way we're playing it, nothing.
The subconscious, Glenn, then there is a reading afterwards.
All right, so last one. Name a song.
Let it. I don't even
Let it be.
know why it came out.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Francesca, name a song.
Non è Francesca of Lucio Battisti with my name.
All right, fine. Then I'll say Sandy by Bruce Springsteen or Danny Zuko.
What is this game supposed to teach people?
Clearly, it shows, like you said, I don't know how that came to mind, right? It starts to open up what's in your subconscious. You don't even realize what's there, right? It also shows you the power of suggestion, because you would say something and then Francesca would repeat it, or the other way around, right? So it's I just find it fun, fascinating, and interesting. So for example, I'll give you one that I threw out at the diner the other day. Name a price for sex.
No price. Zero price.
So I said it to Jen, my partner. I was like, name a price for sex. I'm curious, what's a price for sex? And she, without skipping a beat, she goes, UTI.
Actually, with a price, it's not sex anymore. It's work.
Well, oh man, that's a loaded question, because if you ask a guy that, it's really expensive when you talk about a house and a divorce, and it gets really expensive.
Yeah. And so as you can see, it's a really great way to learn and understand what's going on in somebody's subconscious mind, what they grab immediately. Because as you know, we've talked about it many times, the front smart thinking part of your brain processes 40 bits of information per second. But the subconscious mind, the instant automatic reactive part of the mind, processes 40 million. And playing this game gives you like a glimpse into grabbing one of the 40 million, right? So it's really fascinating.
Also, we use the structure with all the colors for hypnotic tests. So we ask the client, that's what I've been exploring with Rossano. You ask the client which color to choose, and then through the color you understand the character of the person. Yeah,
it's so much fun. Drunk Safari wants more questions. Do me a favor, Drunk Safari 007. Reach out to me.
Sorry, not drunk.
Well, there goes the power of my subconscious mind. I keep saying drunk.
Sorry, it's drunk.
I thought at first it said drunk so far. That was the name. Okay, so whoever spelled drunk wrong, 007, just reach out to me. I'll send you the whole list that we have, and you can play it at home.
All right. So what is your theme? You were talking about how to get ourselves out of. What was your top?
The question today, Francesca was already mentioning it, because I know she's really on board with this topic. Francesca likes this topic a lot. We all day, every day, are paid essentially to give advice to people, right? We hypnotize them, but we're guiding people, we're pointing, we're suggesting, and asking questions. to help them open up what's going on for them and lead them in the direction they do want to go. So, Glenn, I'm sure in your years of doing this work, people have said to you, look, you teach 1,000 things, but what do you actually do? What do you actually do? Right? So, Francesca, I know you like the question. Maybe, Francesca, you want to answer it first to sort of give Glenn an idea of where we're going.
Well, I believe is always for me awareness. If you're in a bad place and you are aware of the why, not necessarily to find the reason, because we don't expect to be in a bad place, or we find ourselves unexpectedly. So the awareness and knowing the why helps you to be in the bed, growing in the bed, or being there for someone you love. Can be a child, can be your best friend, can be your lover, not escaping the situation, being aware of the bed, knowing the why. So awareness for me is the key.
So you do that for yourself. You find yourself in a bad situation, and the first thing you say to yourself is, okay, I'm asking myself why.
I always know why. So that's why my mindset is always about happiness, but maybe I'm suffering, and that's because I'm aware of the why, and so I don't feel stuck. So when I'm not aware, I get crazy, for example.
What if the why, you say you always know why, but what if your answer to why is, well, it's that guy's fault? Is that the right why?
Is the why that is about your truth. As we know, truth is relative, so we always find our own truth. So we find our truth to accept and to move into the bed. It depends if we want to be there or not. Not to find a reason, because we don't have a reason, but we know the why. That's my idea.
So the booby trap with why is two things. It goes both directions. Either it's the other guy's fault, it's the government's fault, it's the situation's fault, it's the fault of the weather, it's someone else's fault. Or people say, oh, I'm over that now. I'm evolved because I went to therapy. It's my fault. I'm responsible because I create my own world, and that's just as wrong.
Totally, because if you feel guilty, then you don't even grow from it. So
right. So we can and do live in a world where we do create our own world, but stop mistaking that for now I'm responsible for screwing this up. Those are two different stories.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you feel guilty, you victimize. So we always have to be aware and move on from awareness. Right.
Right. All right, Glenn, you're having a bad day, a bad moment.
Well,
what's your process? What do you do?
Here's what I find. When it comes to dreams and goals, actions must be taken. When it comes to problems, disappointments, anger, heartache, frustration, wait. Let it calm down.
I never heard it said that way before, Glenn. That is really good. Can I repeat it so I can remember?
Glenn is so peaceful. He's a Buddha, Glenn.
This is so good. Okay, so when it comes to dreams, goals, desires, that's when
Action.
That's when we take action. But when it comes to the word you used as problems, wait, I never heard it said before like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I wait. The less I react to my negative emotions and negative views of things that have happened to me, the better perspective I get to take the next action step. So when shit hits the fan, just wait. Let it pass, then deal with it.
Let me play devil's advocate. So you're advising me and you tell me to just wait. I know it's good advice, but my question to you would be, what do I do while I'm waiting? Because I got to be being. What do I do? What do I do?
That's part of the method, grasshopper. That's part of
That's part of being mature. Yeah.
our relationship with being comfortable is the key to solving our problems. So knowing that, yes, I'm asking you to sit in it. I'm asking you to wait, which is torture for 99.9% of everyone in the world. But if you realize sitting in that uncomfortability, developing your relationship with being uncomfortable is the secret that will truly change your life, then you realize you're doing it for a reason.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. I'm thinking from the perspective of a client who comes in, they've never done this work before, or they tried, or they think they did. and you say, wait, my questions would be, how long? Well, I mean, am I sitting on my hands? Like, what am I doing okay, first question, how long do I wait?
Yep. Until the emotions fade and you can think logically again.
So if you
Or till you listen to your emotions, and so anger is away and the truth sets in. Sì.
There's so many things. There's so many times I've been so angry at a particular situation or a person. And I used what I call my do nothing tool. So I got my do nothing tool out. Then all of a sudden, a day passes, my perspective changes, and I'm like, thank God I did not react on what I was feeling and what I wanted to say. Because I would have blown it up for no reason. You know, using the do nothing tool is doing something. Waiting for yourself, it's almost like, all right, don't deal with the problem. Go do something else. Let your perspective come back to you. Then take action. That's the root of every friggin' problem in this world. We would just wait. Let the emotions pass and make our choices. Life would be a much more beautiful place.
Did you coin that phrase, the do nothing tool? Because I wanna like give you full credit for that.
It's a big phrase in Al-Anon,
Okay.
which is a 12-week program. No, it's not my. I wish I could make that. It's there for anybody to use. The do nothing tool.
Yes, it's very beautiful, Glendino. Let's specify that people always say time heals everything. Time heals in the moment you are acting during this time to go deep within the conflict also. So, as you said, we have to wait, but go deep same time into our emotions, to connect truly to the source. Because people say, time heals everything, don't worry, and then they escape. I see it along the experience of coaching or along the meetings with friends, and we realize how time doesn't heal unless you are active into the healing process.
Yeah. That's part of the healing process is waiting for your perspective to come back. You know, I get so I can't really be around people anymore that have to react. I gotta fix this right now. No, you don't. I need to tell them. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. Just wait.
Because their real message is, I need to soothe this discomfort. I need to soothe this stress. I need to soothe this anxiety. So then the to do would be whatever makes you feel a little bit better, not about the thing, right? Because that's what they're really seeking is soothing. I had to explain that to a client recently who's in her 40s now, beautiful, amazing, smart, successful, all of the wonderful things. I love her so much. And she just can't get it right with guys every time. And she tells me the conversations then went down and I'm like, oh my God, no, that's you. That's you. Here's why. And we go over it again. And she's like, oh no, like, what do I do? Do I go back and try to get that guy back again? I'm like, well, if you say everything I tell you to say, you actually could, but I don't like that guy for you. Let's move on anyway. But right, so we go. It's really a lot of fun. She's learning a lot. But here's the thing that's really big for her and a lot of people. Your story may be similar or different, but everybody understands the concept. She said to me, and she's an intelligent human being. She said, "My father abandoned me when I was little. Therefore, I'm unworthy of love from a man." You know, so I know that she could say different words. I know that she could say, look, I know I'm worthy of love. It's just uncomfortable, right? She could say those things, but she was really speaking what her subconscious mind believes, and the subconscious mind doesn't have logic. It doesn't have anything like intelligence. It's just an automatic reactive program. So when she says, therefore, I am not deserving of love, she's telling the truth regarding her subconscious beliefs. So even changing the words still wouldn't change that she really feels that she's unlovable. So I said, okay, the only thing we can do here, because you're not letting go of the story that your dad left you, the only thing we can do is rewrite that story. And this is where Glenn, when you held up your phone, you said, I got to do something about that right now, right? That person who's like freaking out in the moment, you say, just wait, right? That person is trying to soothe discomfort, period. That's all that's happening. So I said to her, I said, look at this man you don't know. You haven't seen him since you were 4, okay? He left his child. Do you understand how much turmoil was going on in his life? And I don't know his story, but to do that, he had a lot of pain, and it felt a little better to go. For whatever the reason, it felt a little better to go. Do you know how much pain he had to be in for that to be the self-soothing thing? You see? So when we start to rewrite the story of our history, instantly it rewrites our future.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Which is not the same of divorces, because many times the father is not there, but is still present, as it was for me. Many people ask me, do you have any trauma because you grew up with your father away? And I said, no, because my father was very present. So of course I had my traumas, which I've been working on, and sometimes they come back, but I'm aware. So I don't suggest to people to be together if they have to fight, divorce, but be present with your children.
Exactly right. And I said, you get to choose how we rewrite your past, not what I suggest. I'm throwing out ideas. It has to be something you buy. Yeah. And that was exactly one of them. I said, had that man stayed, believe me, that would have not been a comfortable situation for anybody in that household. We know that for sure too, right? Yeah. So for all we know, we could write the story and say he left in order to make it a little bit better for you. Maybe he loved you so much, he sacrificed himself. That could also be exactly the story. Right?
Yeah,
now,
that you were better off without him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest lies suicidal people tell themselves, that, hey, the world's better off without me. My family's better off without me. All I'm going to do is make their lives worse. That's a huge lie that people believe when they become suicidal. You know, that people will be better off without them.
So
horrible.
Somebody who comes to you, Glenn, and says that, and then they say to you, when you're in a bad way, Glenn, you're a pro, how do you soothe yourself? And right, the do nothing tool is as good as it is. They want to know right now, well, if I can't do the thing, what do you tell?
Yeah. Go to the effing gym. Get that out. You know, go do something physical. It's a tough thing because some people really can't just sit. They get compulsive and neurotic, and that takes over, and this hysteria takes over. And all I can do is share, meditation, exercise, even distracting yourself by going to a movie. But even then, some people will pick it right back up after that moment because they just aren't ready to sit with uncomfortability.
Yeah. As rewriting the story, as you said, guys, or being creative, because it helps to find different perspectives. Creativity, I believe, is the secret for any healing process we go through.
Yeah.
So, 2 days ago, I was walking in Central Park. This happens so often. It's kind of funny, kind of scary, but funny. I'll walk in Central Park and then I'll go see a client, and whatever has occurred to me on my walk is exactly the question they ask. I'm like, well, here's the answer. They're like, how do you know that? I'm like, because I just answered it before it happens all the time. I think the spirits live in Central Park and I walk and gather them or something. So I was walking in Central Park just before a client 2 days ago. And I was thinking, gosh, it feels so good. Manhattan in November, and it's a day that's not that cold. So the air feels good, and the leaves and the horses and the birds, it just, the whole thing is magical. Bethesda Fountain, right? So I'm walking thinking, how do we best, or even better than before, help guide our clients from no magic to magic? Because I just was walking and feeling the magic, and I thought, I wish I could just shake every one of the 8 billion people on the planet and be like, you see the magic? How do you not see the magic, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, well, what is it? When people are in a bad way and magic is right here available now, but they can't get it, what's the thing that's between us? And that thing that's between us is the story we keep telling ourselves, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I've been teaching, let's keep that story because you're not ready to get rid of it, but we're going to rewrite it. So that's sort of step one. But now I want to take it to an extreme, because this is still part of rewriting the story, but it opens it up. It makes that so ridiculous that you have no choice but to fall right over the dumb story into the magic. And it goes like this. I was thinking, imagine you're looking in the mirror, because we all look in the mirror a few times a day, and you can see the color of your eyes, because we all do that every day, everyone with no exception. And let's just pretend for this story's sake that you happen to have your grandmother's eyes. Maybe you don't, okay? But just for this example, you look in the mirror, you see your eyes, and it reminds you of your grandmother, and you think, gosh, I am so grateful for my grandmother. I got my eyes from my grandmother. They work. They're beautiful. It's my window to the world. Thank you, dead grandma. Every time, it's ridiculous on purpose. Every time you look in the mirror, thank you, dead grandma. I gotta take this time to let you know that I saw my eyes again. They reminded me again. Oh, hold on. Somebody's asking me, excuse me. Oh, you want to go to dinner? Hang on, because I'm thanking my grandma. You look back in the mirror. Wait, you look back in the mirror. Thank you, grandma. My eyes work, and they're beautiful. And you gave them to me. Dead grandma, I know thank you. I'm almost done. Okay, so now you finally make it away from the mirror. You'll get this in a second, Glenn. I know you're not, but you're going to get it. Francesca's already getting it. You wait. So now you made it to dinner. You got over the hurdle of, I got to keep spending time with grandma, but you got yourself away from the mirror for a moment. You sit down at dinner, and your friend is telling you a lovely story. And then they say to you, what do you think of my story? And you say, gosh, I apologize. You're a good communicator. So you say, I apologize. I should have been present with you while you were telling me your story, but I was still thanking my grandmother. So I wasn't really paying attention. You see, because this is exactly what's going on with everyone when they tell the story, my father left me, my father left me, my father left me, I'm on a date, I can't feel love because my father left me 40 years ago. My father left me, my father left me, my father, so I can't be good with a guy on a date because my father left, right? That's no different than saying, I love my grandma, I love my grandma, I love my grandma, I love my grandma. So if you're going to pick one of 40,000 stories and you're stuck on my dad left me, what if you got stuck on I love my grandma? Are you starting to follow now that we're all just stuck to a story? Because when you think a thought, it builds a bridge. And every time you think that thought, the bridge gets bigger, the light lights up more. That's called a habit.
So, for me...
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Totally. It's also about the perception you have of yourself.
That's like saying, Glenn, how do I get to the Jersey Shore? Hop on the turnpike, get off on exit 3. Sandy, how do I get to the Jersey Shore? Get in your car, put the seatbelt on, turn the car on, turn the lights on, go out of your driveway, shut the door, hop on the street, look at the sun. I was like, whoa, that was a very, actually what you just did, that was a very fizzy story you just told. That was very much the story of a fizz.
And how,
You know what I mean?
How can it be more effective in certain situations than not doing it?
Depends who you're talking to, you see. So all those details for that story, that was a giant web of a story for a beautiful point. But yeah, that was a very...
And what was the beautiful point?
Beautiful point was, you're funny, you're high, that was a high fizz story. Explain that to Francesca.
Or exchange subject. Instead of always repeating your father, think of your grandma and be happy.
Right. You're just locked onto one of 1,000 stories because you practiced it. And it's so ridiculous when you realize, well, we could just practice grandma's story. We could practice any story. So pick a story you do want and practice that story.
You get to choose your story.
You get to choose your story. People think they don't get to choose.
I would rather go deep and understand why I have this situation with my father, which we all have done. That's why we are so deep, instead of imagining something better. But still is an amazing technique.
Thank you.
I would fix the problem I have with my father.
Jackie understands. Thank you, Jackie. But Francesca, if we were to take this specific story, my father left me at 4, and therefore I'm unlovable. Well, the therefore is a wrong equation, by the way. Okay? Because I said to her, my son's father, my baby daddy, my son's father left him before he was born. That is a true story. Is my son unlovable? And she's like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm like, damn right. Right? So what makes you different than him? So if, Francesca, we were going to go down your route of why, I want to see the rabbit hole here. How would that process go? What would that conversation sound like?
The why of the person feeling this way with the father. What did you ask?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yeah. You're
So,
going to ask why.
Yeah, instead of going back to the past, understanding the present. So she's feeling, he or him is feeling this way. Understand how your father is feeling, and understand that your feelings are not his feelings. So sometimes we merge emotions because it's family. So we have to detach from the emotion of the parent and get in touch with ourselves. And so we don't only accept, we connect to the truth. And so we don't get mad if our parent is like that, but still we connect to ourselves.
What's the truth?
The truth is you find your own truth based on the connection you have with your father.
What is that?
The truth is that your father, of course, maybe has been treated the same, and then we go deep about the story of the father, how he has been grown up, how parents, were behaving with him, and so you realize that your truth is actually becoming truth, and you accept the connection and don't get mental about
You're
it.
doing layers of amazing things in there. You're demystifying who dad is. You're finding compassion. You're finding understanding. You're looking through new perspective.
Yeah.
So it's a whole more than the question why. You're getting it all right. You're getting it all right.
Going deep, I think, is the secret for being aware, for healing.
A very difficult truth to accept is that not everyone who has a child is capable of being a parent. And that has nothing to do with the child and everything to do with the person that created the child.
Yeah.
We think of parents. It's not. It's because you gave birth to a child. If you were the father or the mother of a child, not everyone's capable of being a parent. They're not. And we take that personal as a child.
Yeah.
And understand is that it's a tough truth to understand.
Yeah.
It's right. It's very right.
Yeah. Think about if you were walking down the busy streets of LA or London and how they have like a big truck outside with cats that you can adopt. Have you ever seen that? You could walk through the truck. Wait, what Jackie say? I've been doing meditation a lot lately and it's very enlightening. Hallelujah. So imagine, you're walking down the street and they've got the cats that are available for adoption. And you walk through and you see the cutest kittens in the world, right? The cutest kittens in the world, and you hold one, right? But you don't adopt that cat. So along with what Glenn is saying, well, I'm not in a position to be your parent for whatever the reason. I am not in a position to be your parent. Are you giving a message to this cat? You are not worthy of love?
Yeah.
One doesn't mean the other. So people, if we could take one thing from this, is they say if A, then B, then C. And that's just not the case. Stop making stuff mean things. Just check with, what did I make this mean? What else is true? That's a question I teach all the time. Pause in any uncomfortable situation and just ask yourself, what else is true?
Yeah, that is the undoing work.
What else is true? Connect to the truth and go deep. Yes.
Yeah, the challenging thing is when a child is brought up with a consistent message about love, and they get consistent messages of love from their mom, their dad, they grow up with a trust for life and a trust for people. When children are brought up with inconsistent messages about love, then they have to work through those messages during their life's kind of journey. They don't have an inherent trust for life. They don't have an inherent trust for people. Things I had to go through my own understanding and learning from getting mixed messages about love and life as a kid. So I wish every person that gave birth could be a parent and could show consistent messages of love and security. But that's just not the world we live in.
Yep, and exactly what you're talking about. Where people get it wrong is then they go to therapy later in life and they learn what you just said, which is, well, you grew up without trust. Other people grew up with trust. And so you're right. It's definitive. That's what happened. But then they tell the story, well, the world just sucks because I grew up without trust. Because they're not asking the right question is, can I develop that trust? And what's the answer?
You can.
100% yes. But you can't unless you are willing to. And if you believe this is not possible for me, then you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. That is a very big one for people to understand.
Yeah.
And some never do. Some start and they run from it because it's not easy. It's not easy to realize that all of it ultimately comes down to our own belief system about ourselves. That we can change. It's the only thing we can control in life is what we believe.
Yeah. Also, we have to believe we're able to do anything we want. But then if we do too much, how can we be real parents also? So people say ambitious. We have to be ambitious, yes. But also keep your time in a way that you are also free to live and to be ambitious about the meaning of love, for example, because people always choose one path and they work like crazy from day till night, feeling ambitious. But what about the meaning of life? It's not only about work. So we have to be ambitious, adding meaning to life, but not only in terms of business or work, but expansion, knowledge, curiosity, healing.
Yes. But for people who, I was a single mom for most of my, now Jen and I are together, but I was a single mom in the beginning. And if somebody told me, don't go build a new business, don't go develop yourself, because I had to do all of those things. I went back.
This is important,
right?
yeah.
Right? So in my need to rebuild myself in my 40s from scratch, from below zero, in my need to do that, my son developed independence. We had no other choice. And he's one of the most amazing people I know. So had I been one of those people who said, don't have any ambition, don't go,
Have a purpose. No.
Right. So, it's then it comes down to when we do for our children, often we take from our children. It's often better to allow them to figure it out on their own, do it on their own, learn for themselves, ask new questions, have a need to build and develop without abandoning them. There is a fine line, but often what we do for our kids, we take from our kids. And another thing about doing more for your kids and less for, we'll say, yourself or developing a business or something, when we do something for our kids, we're also often sending a message, I don't trust you to do it. Right?
Yeah.
So, for parents, especially single parents who have ambition, who have to build businesses, who have to allow their kids some more independence, that's okay too. That's okay too. So I'm all for the single mom.
Yeah, ambition is seen as a purpose, because many people are trying to be ambitious and they're losing themselves. They're not happy at all. Just because, of course, they want to be ambitious, but they're ambitious with a purpose. The purpose is what you have to keep in your heart, I believe.
And I also hear you saying when we really look at the definition of ambition, it doesn't always have to do with career or money. Love and family and self-development and joy and art are also
curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah. And Glenn, you were a single parent, no? For some.
Well, I was never a single parent. I mean, I always co-parented with my ex. So having my daughters half the time.
Yeah. Which is the best way to do it, because then you're like full-on parent and you get free time. I think
free time with the child.
Free babysitter. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like everything else, because you still have to negotiate with that other parent. You still have to make compromises. So it's like I couldn't just decide, hey, I want to take my daughter, move to Fiji, homeschool, we're going to live on the beach and buy a boat and live there. Well, you can't do those kind of things when you are co-parenting with someone else. So it does have its challenges over things. And even now, it's challenging because my youngest is a senior, and I have a very different perspective on college than my ex-wife does. I have a very different perspective on it, and that's what makes it really challenging right now. The more the more, and there's also amazing ones, so it's not a dig against any teacher, but lately, the more college professors that I've met, the more disappointed I am. I thought if you're a college university professor that you have an inherent knowledge, an inherent intelligence that I haven't developed. And I used to think that about politicians as well. I thought people in the Senate and people in the House, these are people that are so educated, they know what they're doing. Now, nothing could be further from the truth. I hear things out of college professors' mouths, and I'm disgusted with how stupid some of them are. I hear things out of senators on both sides, and I'm disgusted with how stupid they are. You know, and so now my whole perspective towards not all, but some of higher education is really shifted a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. In fact, I believe as parents, you must be independent to give the possibility to children and new generation to expand potential, because that's when you develop your own persona. Not thinking of being ambitious when you are young already, and then you basically lack the best part of activating your potential, trying different things. It's very important.
All right.
Yeah.
So back to what we do when we as individuals, people who do this for a living, when we as individuals are in a bad way, what do we do right now? And Francesca, you said go into all the why questions, because when you have an understanding, it makes you feel what? Empowered?
Empowered. It makes me feel I know where I'm at and why I'm doing certain things. The why for me is fundamental.
When you find out why, what is the good emotion you get from that?
That if I of certain things, I know the why, and so I do it with my heart, mind, and body. Not only because I have to, because I feel I want to, because I know the why.
So what is that emotion for you? Is it freedom? It's something about being an individual, like authenticity. What's the right word for you?
Knowing the why means you are aware, so means you are present, conscious.
Yeah, good. And Glenn, you used your special magic sit on it button. What's the?
We also, you know, we talk about vices, right? People use smoking, drinking, unhealthy vices. Well, there's healthy vices to get us through hard moments. You know, sitting down behind a piano, playing an instrument, going to the gym, jogging, cooking, painting. We have those creative outlets for a very specific reason. Those creative outlets save our lives in times of inner turmoil. And that's when we should fall on those healthy creative outlets that bring us joy, instead of going for the cigarette or sitting around getting stoned or sitting around and getting drunk and just going negative vices. So I really think that we have to understand the power of positive vices in our life.
I think that's great. And what a great idea to, when you are in a good way, like right now, if you're watching or listening to this, write down a list of 2 or 3 things you could do at any point, right? Because if you're home and it's late, you're not going to necessarily go for a walk. But if you write down your list of positive vices, then when you need it, you've got that note already saved in your phone, and you'd be surprised how much you keep forgetting because you don't have access to remembering when you're in freak out mode. So it's been scientifically proven that there is dopamine, which is the good feeling chemical. There's dopamine in listening to music. Look at people who will pay for a plane ticket and a hotel and a rental car to fly somewhere to just see a live show. There's a good reason for that. They get that much good feeling out of it, okay? There's dopamine in music. There's dopamine in breathing, pranayama, breathing exercises. There's dopamine in walking. There's dopamine in meditation. So there's dopamine in these actual actions and activities. And often what I advise people to do is, let's say you know that you're going to be having an uncomfortable conversation, or you're going to be having an uncomfortable thing going on at work. Get your dopamine hit before you go. My favorite way of doing it is meditation, but you don't have to pick or choose meditation. But get your dopamine hit before you go. You're essentially getting high before you go, so you're fixing a problem before it even happens. But you're doing it in a healthy, way.
How to listen to your body. Beautiful, Sandy. Do you think, guys, the why is the same as saying I have a reason to. For me, there are two different things, the why and to find a reason.
You're saying those are different from each other? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think about it. For example, in love, example, or in work. I do this job, I love this person. The why brings you to go deep and understand the sensation of the why. It can be work, it can be love. So the why makes you go deeper. While the reason, most of the times, is a reason that comes from the past or a reason that is external from you. So the reason is not the same of the why. The why, for me, brings you deeper. The reason, we need reasons, but is external to you.
What I'm hearing you say is you're filling in the gaps from past to present. So why almost helps us fill in the past so we can move on. Because why gives you understanding, and then the reason gives you your purpose for moving forward toward the thing you do want. This is my reason for going.
The reason, for example, I don't like this person. The reason is someone else told me is a bad person. I don't like this person. Why? And then you go deep because I feel this. The why is always personal. The reason can come also from the past experiences or from external voices.
Even if you're asking the same question in multiple different ways, shifting the words slightly, often I'll train people in sales or persuasion, instead of asking why, which can put people on the defensive. Well, why'd you do that, Francesca? Automatically, we feel a little bit like, who are you interrogating me? Instead of using the words why, you would simply shift those words to for what purpose. And that's a moving forward. That's an inference of positive intent when you ask for what purpose. You change the words, but you're going to get a different reaction because the emotional response gives you
why when you ask for it is a different perception.
When you have a different emotional response to different words, it literally measurably releases different chemicals in your brain, which taps on different impulses, which means you're going to respond differently. You're going to reach different parts of your knowing. Does that make sense?
Very true.
Chemically, you're different.
See, asking yourself the question, the why, and asking someone the why has a different perception. Very true. Beautiful point.
I like it. Amazing. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up another successful Thursday.
Yes.
All right.
1 hour flies away.
What's your takeaway, Francesca?
Takeaway is, let me think 1 second. So in life, let's accept suggestions from niche and people we trust, because as we saw before, suggestions can be very contagious. So let's find ourselves in, even if bad places, in places where we can be aware, connected truly to the source. So any suggestion will be truthful and not just because we are there and we feel affected by it.
Very good. And I know you're going back all the way to the very beginning in case people joined us later, the beginning of this conversation where I asked Glenn to name a soda. He said Diet Coke, and then you followed and you also said Diet Coke.
Yeah,
you were suggesting to it and you didn't even realize. So what we say, it matters. We are always being suggested, where people are suggestible to us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Glenn?
My takeaway is, remember, we have healthy vices for a reason. Use your healthy vices and learn to develop your relationship with being uncomfortable. That's it. Strong and simple.
All right. I'm going to give something else to take away before we go, which is my favorite healthy vice. My favorite healthy vice takes 30 seconds. You can do it with your eyes open or closed. Just sit there and feel for your hands expanding. And with every breath, feel for the hands expanding. Maybe they're glowing. Maybe they feel lighter or sparkly or tingly. But you feel for your hands expanding, and then the next thing you know, that softness goes into your belly because your hips drop comfortably. And then all the organs of the belly can soften because the hands expand and that light glows through your body and then glows through your spine so your jaw can release. And all old tensions drain down the body and drip out the toes. And that takes 30 seconds. And it just starts with feeling for your hands expanding, and it reminds you to breathe, and then it allows it to spread, and then other parts of your body follow because they like it so much. And we get from no magic to magic within 30 seconds. And that is my personal process. Look how big my hands got.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for always so much wisdom.
All right, this is the Three Ways
amazing.
podcast. We just posted the last 2 of them on YouTube and on iHeart podcasting and on all the podcasts. So go watch, listen to the 3 Ways podcast, and this one will be uploaded anytime in the next 6 months.
I send them like sometimes.
I love you.
So nice to see you
All
guys.
right.
See you in 2 weeks max.